How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Now, today we're doing something kind of unique. That is, we're going to be essentially upgrading our SRAM GX Eagle rear derailleur to make it shift like an X01 or XX1 rear derailleur. Essentially what we're gonna do is we're gonna find a way to upgrade our GX Eagle into essentially an X01 or XX1 Eagle rear derailleur for $30.
That much? Is that cheap?
Okay. Now, the reason why we're doing this is that there is a difference between X01 and XX1 in terms of shifting quality. It's subtle, it's not enormous, but it's present, okay? Having owned GX Eagle, X01 Eagle, XX1 Eagle, I can tell you that XX1 and X01 are about the same shifting quality-wise. XX1 is just sort of lighter. But GX Eagle, while it's solid, it's good, really good, it's not quite at the precision of the X01 or the XX1. Those are just a little bit crisper, a little bit more positive as you're moving through the gears. And so what a lot of people have found online is that the main reason is a sort of less stiff attachment to the derailleur hanger on the GX Eagle versus the X01 and XX1. And so all you have to do is essentially upgrade the bolt that connects the derailleur to the derailleur hanger, and you should be able to get better shifting. Now, I haven't done this yet, obviously, because I have the part in my hand here, but from what I've read online, this works. Now, obviously, I will do it, and then I will give you my impressions, and if it doesn't work, I'll say, hey, save your money, don't do this. But if it works, which a lot of people says it does, then this might be a cheap way to kind of upgrade your GX Eagle drivetrain, make it shift a little bit better, without having to splash the cash on a full X01 or XX1 rear derailleur. So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to remove the rear derailleur from the bike and then just replace this sort of attachment screw with this one. So I'm gonna take the whole thing off the bike, move it to the bench, make sure I replace all the correct pieces, put it back on the bike, take it for a spin, and I'll let you know whether it shifts better or not. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so we've now got the derailleur off the bike here. Now, quick note that this will work on SRAM SX, NX, and GX Eagle rear derailleurs. You're obviously gonna see the biggest upgrade on the cheaper ones, the SX and the NX, but on the GX, supposedly you're still gonna see quite a difference that makes this worth it. We have the derailleur off the bike. Now, the first thing we wanna do is we wanna sort of lock it in the wheel removal position by pressing this little lock button. This is my favorite thing about the SRAM derailleurs. It makes removing wheels so easy. Push that down like that, and we can lock the derailleur in this position here to give us more space to work. Flip the guy over here, and what we need to do is we need to remove this little split ring right here. Visible, there's a little split ring that essentially keeps this bolt on. You're not gonna be able to get it off otherwise. And all you need is a little pick, and you should be able to sort of like pry it off. Now, it's a little fiddly. I'm gonna see if I can show you, but essentially you just wanna get the pick in there and just kind of work it out, and eventually it'll come out. Sort of see here, there's a little bit of a lip, like this is where it starts. Pry it up from there. Be careful not to jab yourself in the fingers. Once you get it started, it's pretty easy. You just kind of work the pick all the way around. So just sort of work it like that. It is fully removed, like that. And well, the whole thing just came off. So it's gonna be like this. You'll have the split ring, which you just removed, so remove that to the side. Then you have this B-tension plate right here, so remove that. Then the bolt will come out from the other side, like so. And then there's a wavy washer in here, which you can just pry out as well. Okay, we can go ahead and grab our new kit here, which will come with everything we need to replace this piece here. Go ahead and open that up. Okay, now we're actually not gonna use everything in the kit. We don't need to use everything in the kit. These are two new limit screws, and then we have a new B-tension screw. I'm gonna replace them because I like the black, I think it looks better, but you don't actually need those. Here we have the old pieces we took off the derailleur. Okay, again, we have this original bolt, we have the wave washer, we have the sort of B plate or B tension plate right here, and then this little split ring which keeps it all together, which is a huge pain in the butt to put back on because I took it off to make sure I could, then try to put it back on. It was a pain. So we are getting rid of this essentially. So what we're replacing it with is this new bolt right here. Now it's a little bit different. As you notice here, this one here, it's just a solid bolt. As you can see here, it's one piece, right? This whole thing is one piece, nothing moves, okay? This one has a bushing here. The reason why that's smart is that essentially the derailleur, right, it kind of fits around this, right? And it's constantly moving as you're shifting. With this, right, as you can see here, it's gonna wear down. As you can see here, it's already kind of grooved. And over time, it's gonna create more play. More play means it's going to shift more sloppily. With a bushing, which is going to ride between the two, it's gonna keep it moving smoothly without actually wearing down the surface of this bolt. So that's actually a much smarter design. Pair the old plate with the new plate. It might be a little hard to see here, but as you can see, this one is much beefier, okay? This new one. So it's gonna create a more positive engagement between the derailleur hanger and the derailleur itself, creating, again, less slop, which should, in theory, mean better shifting. All right, so first thing we're gonna do to assemble this back up is we're going to first take our bolt, okay? We're gonna take the smaller of the two O-rings, and we're gonna slide it over this bushing down to the bottom. Now, if you notice here, if you slide the bushing up a little bit, there's a little bit of a groove right here, okay, kind of in the cap of this new bolt. We just want to roll this O-ring into there. And there we go. You can sort of see here, it kind of disappears, right? It's in the cap. Next, we are going to slide this back into the derailleur body, just like so. Now you'll see there's a groove here, or we take this bigger O-ring and that gets put down into there. And again, just using my pick to gently place it down there, making sure not to rip it or anything. All that's left to do is to take our new B tension plate here, and you want to use this sort of, there's two sides here, a black side and a shiny side with the sort of notches here in order to make it sort of integrate with the derailleur hanger. That side is out obviously like this. And so all we need to do is just sort of make sure everything is engaged, and we just sort of push and it'll click into place just like that. And there it is. That's all there is to it. Now, as an additional bonus, what we can do is we can replace silver B tension and limit screws with the black ones that come with the kit if you want to. You obviously do not have to, but I think that I'm gonna do that. Doing the B tension first. Then we will replace this with the new one. It is a good bit shorter than the old one. As you can see here, about a head's width shorter. So if you cannot get the B tension properly adjusted with this new one, you may need to go back to the old one, but you can do that once it's on the bike. So I'm gonna just do it now to make my life easier and to make them all match. But that's just something to be slightly aware of, is that you may need to adjust this at a later point. All right, and now we can go ahead and remove our two limit screws, which are down here. Now, these are slightly shorter, again, than the original ones, which I don't really know why that's the case. I don't foresee it being an issue, but something to keep in mind. So again, if you cannot get your limit screws set up properly, if it's too short, if you need more thread, then you may just have to bite the bullet and go back to the silver. So I'm prepared to risk that. So then we just need to screw on these new ones. All right, and there we go, job done. I think those black screws definitely look better than the silver ones before. Hopefully they work. They do feel quite a bit shorter, so we'll see if that works or not. If not, it's not the end of the world. But anyways, yeah, we took this GX Eagle rear derailleur, and while it won't be exactly like an X01 or an XX1 derailleur, we might be able to make it shift a little bit more closely to one. So we will find out. But yeah, so while you have this off the bike, you might want to, you know, take off the pulley wheels and give those a clean. Mine feel pretty smooth, so I'm not going to bother to do that right now. Let's go ahead and put this back on the bike, and then tomorrow I'm going to go take this out for a spin, and we'll see whether or not the shifting has improved. So let's go do that. All right, we are out here getting some loops in. Now I've been riding the bike with the kind of GX upgrade for a couple of days now. I figure I'd give you guys some impressions. So the shifting is definitely more crisp. I will say that for sure. If you press the shifter either up or down, the gear shift is a little bit more immediate than before, which is good. It's definitely closer to the feeling of the XX1 or the XX1 in terms of just immediate shifting. So the one problem though is that those limit screws are a little bit too short, and I had to essentially torque them all the way down to get it close to where I wanted them, which tells me that if they're all the way maxed out, there's a little bit of sort of micro adjustment that I'm giving up, and that I'm not getting it quite as good as it could be, given the fact that, you know, I can't go any further. So that is something to keep in mind. If you do buy the kit, stick with the old limit screws and the old B-tension screw. On most derailleurs, you know, even if you watch the kind of like Park Tool how-to videos on setting up rear derailleurs, for the B-tension screw, they're always kind of like, whatever, it's not really that important. But for SRAM Eagle derailleurs, I found that it's critical to get good shifting to have your B-tension set where it is using the little chain gap tool. So if you can't adjust that perfectly, that kind of limits your shifting experience. So that being said, the shifting is much crisper than before. If you shift, it's immediate, right? Like it goes down, it goes up. It does feel better than before. Now, is it worth $30? I would say if you have GX Eagle, probably not. Probably not, honestly. It's not a night and day difference. It is better, but it's not, you know, night and day. However, if you are on NX Eagle or SX Eagle, I think this definitely would be a worthwhile upgrade for 30 bucks, because having used those two systems, there's definitely a difference between those and GX. GX is solid. You know, I think the best way to describe it is like GX is kind of like 105 for Shimano road bikes. 105 is really good, you know, and if you get Dura Ace or Ultegra, yeah, you'll feel a difference, but it won't really be that noticeable. And GX is kind of like that to XL1 and XX1. But NX and SX, they're pretty bad compared to GX, I'd have to say. And so that being the case, I think this would make those shifting experiences a lot better, which would probably make this upgrade worth it. And I guess if you have GX, it'd be worth it if your derailleur is worn out, because that bushing on the bolt definitely will result in more longevity and will help it last longer. So I think in that scenario, it would be worth it for GX as well. Is this a waste of money? No, it does make shifting better, but it's not going to be a night and day difference. Now, all that being said, does it make it exactly as good as XO1 or XX1? No, I think a lot of that comes down to the shifter. The shifter on XO1 and XX1 has a little more adjustability, so you can adjust the angle of the upshift paddle, or to go to an easier gear. And I find that it's just a little bit smoother compared to the GX. So it doesn't solve that issue, despite it making the shifting better. So all in all, should you do this upgrade? Like I said, depends. If you have NX or SX, yes. If you have GX, maybe. I think it really depends on whether your shifter is worn out and whether X01 or XX1 is in your price range. If you can afford X01 or XX1, they're still better. And I do think they are, you know, you're gonna get more for your money. But GX Eagle's really good. This makes it a little bit better. And so if you're just looking for an incremental upgrade, give it a shot. It's fun, it's easy, it's kind of DIY, and hey, it's 30 bucks. It's not the end of the world. So anyways, hope the video was helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. I would really appreciate it. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you later.